Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel, Back to Base. And today we are going to talk about Playwright and how you can use Playwright for web application or API based application for the automation. So I'll take example of one web application as well as API. And I already have created a basic automation framework structure, and I'll walk through how I had created. And similarly, you can create that framework from the scratch, and it's very easy. So okay, without wasting time, let's dive into this, how we can use it, Playwright, and do the automation. So I'll show you the what is problem statement and how I will approach this problem. So as you can see, I have this Swag Lab a demo site is ready, and we have different user. So what our purpose is, we need to log in into this site. And so as a part of kind of automation, what you need to do, you need to log in into this application and and add a one item into cart or multiple item into the cart, and go to the cart and go to checkout and enter some data like your name, your zip, and click on continue button. And what your job is to like make sure this tax is properly calculated as 8% of the item value, and you need to add assertion for this. Make sure like total value is correct and tax is correct and item value is correct. And once it is correct, you need to confirm the order, and you need to validate you have successful message over there. And for the API automation, I have this example like dog breed. There is one API which returns the dog breed response. So it returns message and the status. So we need to hit this API and make sure it is working. And if we hit multiple time, make sure it is working. So I'll try to automate this. And so I'll show you how you can approach this in Playwright and Java and TestNG basically. So I'll show you, let me open the IDE. So I have this basic framework already there. So I'll explain you what would be your approach, how you can create a similar framework for your application. So let me go to the README. I have created this README as well. I'll put this code in the GitHub, and I'll share in comment section. So you can take a look into this sample automation framework. So for since I'm using Java and Playwright and TestNG, so what you need to do, you need to install the JDK and JRE, and then you need to install the Apache. And you should have one IDE. You can use IntelliJ, or you can Eclipse, or any other IDE. So you can use this instruction first before starting anything. So once you have all these things ready, so what you do as a first step, you need to create a project. Since I already have created, but I'll show you how you can do it. You can click on this and create on the project, and you can give the name of your project, and you can give language, and you can select the build system, whether it is Maven or Gradle or any other. You can select it. So for now, I'll not do anything, so I'll cancel it. But if you are new to IDE, you can create a Maven project using this IDE. And so this is this would be my first step, where I'll just create a project, and it will automatically create some folders like src, main, Java, and test. And these folder it will automatically create, and it will create a basic pom file as well. So if you see, it will create pom file with basic information like what would be the artifact and version. And since we are using the Playwright and TestNG and Maven and other tools as well, so for that, we need to add the dependency in order to install these dependency. So as you can see, I have added second step, as like I have added the dependencies for the Playwright and then TestNG, and then there is one library for the dependency for the JSON parsing. I have added Jackson.core, so you can add this as well. And then at the end, I have added Maven. So this is your first step. You need to add whatever dependency you need for your application. So I have added it. Second, I'll think about how you can organize your test structure. Although you can follow the page or the object model, but how you can like organize. As you can see, like we need to automate the API as well. So what I'll do, I'll separate out. I mean, do the modular implementation. For example, for the API, I can create a separate package, and for the UI pages, I can separate package. So if you see, I have created a one package for a API library, and it is kind of like wrapper. And second is I have given like UI pages, that is the uh, putting all the your selectors and locators and everything that I have. So I put it there. And then we have utils. Utils contains all the information, like it contains some script related to your DB connection or some other useful. So for example, here what I'm doing, I'm reading the configuration file where I have some URLs and username and other I have stored. So this is the like utils file, and this is the page, and then we have API wrapper. And then we have resources. So in resources, you can put all the test data. So for example, you can see I have given like URL, username, password, and everything here. But if you have like a JSON file, or you can say um, XML file, you can put there in the resources folder. And then we have this test folder. So whatever test your like whatever your test cases, you need to put into the test package. So what you need to do, you can create, I mean, again, divide into two parts. It could be API test and UI test. And if you wanted to add some performance tests, you can further divide into some other type of test, or you can divide per application, or you can say feature. So as you can see, for the API, I have created one package, and for the UI, I have created the different package. So this is the basic structure of my automation framework. Now let's dive into the problem, how I'll approach that problem that I have explained. So first step is to log in, right? So what I'll do, I'll create a login page which will have all the selectors and locators in it. So if you see here, I'm importing the some Playwright pages and Playwright locator. So you can see like this is how you can import the Playwright pages and locator. And I have created variable, private variable here as a locator type, return type, so that I can access because these are the web element, right? And I have created a constructor, and inside the constructor, I am giving all the locator selectors. For example, for the, let's say, username, this is the selector, and for the other password and login button, we have different type of selectors and locators are there. So I have given there. And similarly, I have created a login function which you need to like fill or give username and password, and then you can basically log into the system. So this is the login function, and then there is one other error message. So it will just return you the login message. So in Playwright, basically, we use fill. So in Selenium, if you have knowledge about Selenium, we use send keys, right? So it is similar to send keys. Fill basically we use in the Playwright, and click is same as Selenium. So I'll explain I mean, the difference between Selenium and Playwright. So in Selenium, what happens? It basically uh, browser is basically controlled by the some web driver. So you have seen like we have Chrome driver and Safari driver and Gecko driver and Edge driver. These are the different driver that we use to control the behavior of the any browser. However, in the Playwright, we don't use any driver. We have Playwright already have engine that directly communicate with the browser. That's why Playwright is a little bit faster than the Selenium. So that's the main difference. So let's again go further. So this is login page that I have created. Okay. So this is first step where I need to find all the selectors and locators. So I have done for the login. And then for the product page, similarly, I have, so if you see in a application, they have like, uh, I'm calling this as a product page, which have like all the baggage. And then if you go to checkout page, you will see different information. Like if you go here, you see checkout option and you see these options. So I'm calling it as a product page. So For that, I need to analyze all the selectors and locators and those information. So for that, what I did, I similarly created all the locators and created a you can say constructor here. So if you see, these are the different selectors for the product page, and created some small function here like adding to cart, entering the user detail, checkout, click on the continue button, get attribute value, and click on finish button. And these options I have created, and getting the information about the confirmation button. And then there is some logic to parse the text here in Java. So I'll show you like how did I parse that, I mean text, and showing it here. So this is the second page I have created. Now I have page created. Now what I want to basically read the configuration right dynamically. So if you see, I have these configuration stored in my config. Then I have written this config reader file class where I'm reading all the configuration from the property file. So you can see I'm using property and then reading the file and returning all the property based on the key. And if you see in the login, I am using, I have, I'm using like this configuration dot reader and get property. So I'm like, if you see, I already imported that file and just getting all the URLs, users, and whatever information uh, I'm getting. And then I have created just hash map to put all the users so that I can access it dynamically in our login function based on the type. So we have different type. That's why I have given dynamically getting those users based on the user type. So this is the second thing I do. First, I'll create the page. Second, I'll get the configuration. So I have all the things ready. And so this is for the UI application. Later, I'll show you for the API application as well. So let's try to automate one scenario. So if you see, so this is my actual test class, like test tax calculation. I have given name like test tax calculation. So since I'm using the TestNG, right? So if you see, I have created the before class, after class, and before method, after method. These annotation I have used. So for each and every test case, how I'll create a page object, page model, page object basically. So in the Playwright, we create a kind of uh, browser context for each instance so that we can basically invoke a separate, you can say, browser so that we don't interfere with each other. So that's why I have created these like uh, methods, you can say, based on the annotation. So if you see, I have initialized Playwright here, and then browser, and then browser context. So this is the very important. So browser context is if you wanted to manage different, you can say, tabs, or you can say pages on your for your application, then you need to use the browser context so that you can manage the context for each and every page. So that's how, I mean, I used browser context here and created this method. And if you see, I'm also creating a object of the login page as well as the product page here so that I can access all the you can say elements or method that are given in the login page. And there are some test data I'm just hard coded here, like first name, last name, postal code. So that's I have given. And there are some static method I have written there. So let me go to one of the test. So let's see. So this is the one of the test case. Most of the tests are same because we need to just test based on the user. So I have created different test based on the different user. So if you see in this test, I am giving the standard user and then calling the checkout function. So let's go to this checkout function. And in this checkout function, what I'm doing, I'm basically logging into based on the user type and asserting that I'm able to log in successfully or not, because I'm validating whether that text is visible or not. And then adding a one, you can say, uh, uh, you can say item in the cart. If item equal to 2, then I'm adding 2 item. If item equal to 1, then I'm adding 1 item basically. So that's how, I mean, I'm creating different test cases based on the different item number of item. So I'm adding the item, then clicking on the checkout, and then entering the user information. And once user information is added, I am asserting the calculation. So I'm clicking on the like continue button as I have shown in for the application. And here, if you see, I am getting all that text summary. So if you go here, not here, if you go here, so I'm getting this value. Now I wanted to make sure like this is the 8% of this item total, right? So that I can calculate the total value. Since it is a string and it has currency as a dollar, I need to little bit parse it. So for that, what I did, if you see, I'm parsing the text. If you go to this parse text message, I'm just using the regular expression here. So if you see, I'm compiling the based on this digit, and then giving the to like pattern and matching if that has matching value. I mean, if I find there is matching there, then I'm just returning as a decimal value, so that I can basically calculate some value there. And if there is error, then we say decimal value is not present. So that's, I mean, about the parsing. Now let's go back to test again, and then I'm calculating the total tax is 0. I mean 8% or not, and then rounding off the two two digit, two decimal digit, and then I'm calculating the actual tax and getting the total amount and asserting that rounded number like that, whatever I have calculated equal to the actual tax or not. So this is how, I mean, I'm validating it, and if it is passed, then that means we have good calculation, and otherwise it will give a fail here. And then what I'm doing, I'm clicking on the finish button. So if you see here, there is finish button. If you just click on this, you will see this, your order is confirmed. Then after the clicking on that confirmation, I'm just validating we have this message displayed or not, and asserting that. So this is how I'm basically calculating it for that application. And now I'll show you basically how you can also use code generator in the Playwright to generate your code automatically, and you can use it like selector and locators and that code in your test. So let me go to command line. So if you see, I already have that open. So so if you wanted to run code generator in the uh, uh, Java, then what you need to do, you need to execute mvn exec java and main class equal to com dot microsoft dot playwright cli and exec dot code gen. And I have given this URL. So let me click on this. So it is compiling, and make sure you are on your root directory. So if you see, once I clicked on the command line, you can see code generator has been started. And you can basically check all the locators here. I mean, for the locators, for the username, for the password, for the login, you can check the locators. And you can copy it, paste. So already, so I'll just type is standard standard user, and then I'll just paste it and click on the login button. So, and if you parallelly see in this here, you can see like all the code is generated, I mean, for whatever operation I'm doing here. I mean, and you can use these selectors, locators, and whatever, like, I mean, these code uh, in your page object model. And if you click on, then again add it, and if you click on here and click on checkout, fill the value, click on to new and finish, you will see, I mean, all the operations are recorded here. I mean, you can see here like all the operation, like whatever I have given, like click on the checkout, click on the first button, and click on the enter the last name, first name, postal code. So all the things are recorded, and this is the way which you can use to analyze your selectors and locators as well, and you can use it for troubleshooting or debugging purpose as well. So this is very, I mean, good feature in the Playwright basically. So, and if you are unable to find find the selectors and locator, you can see like all the selectors and locators you can see here as well, and you can modify it based on like your requirement. If you find this locator is not good for your test, you can modify it to XPath or any other type of test, I mean locators or selectors. So this is how you can use it. I mean code generator. I'll close that. I mean, so just close out. Yes. Okay, so I closed out the code generator. Now again, come back to our test. That's how, I mean, I created all these selectors and locators. So you can see I have given different types of tests and different types of users here. And you can see like I am validating all the things. And if you see there is login test error. So these are different tests you can validate based on the users. So this is about the uh, web application. Now let's talk about the API automation, how you can use Playwright for the API automation. So for API automation, Playwright has ability that is called API request context, and you can use this for the hitting any API in Playwright basically. So if you see, I'm creating the Playwright instance and then API request and then API context. And I'll be using this API request context in our test basically. And this is one simple method to get the response and hit the URL for particular API. So if you see, I'm just hitting that particular API and getting response and validating that response is okay or not, and then just converting that response into the JSON format. So this is how you can basically hit it. And let's take a look into our test. So what I did, so these are some helper method that I have written just for the assertion to make sure our test is basically very short and clean. So if you see, first is make sure like validate API is accessible or not. So I'm just hitting that API 10 times and making sure that it is returning the correct response. And I'm just asserting I have proper image URL as well in the response. So using regular expression, I'm matching the pattern if that pattern is correct or not. So this is one of the use case that you can basically uh, use it. And then I was again doing one more test where I'm making sure like every time I hit and we are returning the different URL as well for that particular API. So if you see, I'm just again hitting that API and collecting all the URL and making sure like all the URLs are different. So if you see, like I'm just checking the difference, like all the URLs are not equal to, I mean, every URL is unique basically. And there is one more test I have written to make sure like after the 10 hit, it can return the duplicate images. So I have written this test case. So this is a little bit complicated. So for now, I'll comment it because it could take a little bit time to execute. So for now, what I'll do, I'll comment it out and then I'll run all other test cases. So I have just commented it out. Okay, so this is how you can basically structure your automation framework, and you can scale it to, I mean, bigger application as well if you need it. So this is how you can create it and use Playwright. Now, next part is how you can execute your test cases. Since I have used the Playwright, right, for the uh, as a test runner, so TestNG for the test runner. So I'll try to execute the test using the test runner. So let me again open the. So next, what you need to do, you can just execute. I'm just clearing. So mvn clean install, or you can do mvn test. I'm just doing mvn clean install, so it will execute your test. So let me see what happens. So it is taking a little bit time. Think something happened. And if you find any issue during that execution, you can use, I mean, this runner as well. Like you can run from your class as well. So something is there. I'll take a look after that. For now, let's close it and try to execute from your class. So click on this and click on here. So as you can see, it is logging and it is very fast and it is validating. And so this is the one of the error scenario where basically your screen get stuck. So I'll not for that. So I'll just close it. And if you see another test case executed perfectly, and it has again error. So I'll close it again. And if you see this is performance user, it is also have some issues. But yeah, you can see like tests are being executed properly, although they are failing due to some defect or issues, which is fine. Okay, so you can see one passed, another failed due to some issues or something happened there. So which is fine because I closed those windows. So I just wanted to show like how you can execute it. So let me execute the API test. Similarly, you can execute API test. And you can see API tests are passing. And since API tests are very fast, so they are executed very quickly. So this is about the like executing the test. And let me show you one more thing how you can check the report. So if you see in the TestNG, there is inside the target folder there is called index.html. It will give you all the, so let me open with browser Chrome. So you can see like all the tests which are executed and which are passed and failed. So you can check here and you can see like all the passed failed test cases here as well. So this is how you can basically check report as well for the any test and the product automation framework. And what else here? So I think that's about it in this framework. And if you have any question, just comment on this video. I'll put all the links as well this automation framework in the description section, so you can take a look as well. And that's about it. How you can use Playwright with Java and TestNG to automate and create any automation framework. So thanks for watching. And if you like this video, please subscribe my channel back to base. And thanks again for watching.